This is an open letter for Mr. Douglas Murray. Bravo, sir. Bravo. I'm not sure exactly why, but you managed to make a name for yourself. I just bravo that. I can give you that much, that you have made a name for yourself. But how you made a name for yourself, who liked you, that allowed you to make a name for yourself. Some important people have to like you in order for you to make a name for yourself. People that important people don't like, they don't get to make a name for themselves. They die usually. People who powerful people don't like, not only they don't get to make a name for themselves, but they usually die or disfigured, or whether socially or physically disfigured, or they don't last long. So some people in high places like you, Mr. Murray, and like not you specifically because you're not special, they like what you have to say. Therefore you become a writer for New York this and Washington that, because the owners of New York this and Washington that magazines, websites are important people, or they take orders from important people, so they hire people that important people like yourself. Salute. Why they like you? Important people are usually rich people. And why do these rich people like you? It's because you're singing their tune. I just heard you, a small piece of your pathetic essay that you presented, that basically the problem with our young people who don't like our ways or don't like our last name, the problem is bad education. The problem that our white people, white children, or British children specifically, don't really like Britain is the educational system. Somehow the educational system is at fault. The fact that the educational system is at fault, that's a different story. Yes, your educational system was designed for, line workers. People who show up on time, do the same thing all day long, whether they're in white collar or blue collar. Your educational system creates exactly what you program it to create. Your educational system was designed to create a bunch of secretaries and linemen. However, your economy has long since moved past linemen and secretaries, but not linemen as in terms case of electrical work. That's a good skill for your people to learn. But linemen in terms of linemen in a factory setting who does exactly the same thing all day long. So this is what your education system was designed. So to at least get a lineman or a secretary out of these male and females. No, everything else was washed out. Every aptitude was washed out. Sports is kept, but you have to be the very best to be part of the 1 in a million to play for a professional team. My point is this, that your educational system needs fixing. Teach skills that are actually relevant to 2025's economy, economic needs. That's on the side. But the idea that our children don't like our British good name and the fault is the educational system. Fuck you. What do you mean? That's not the problem with the educational system. In fact, Up to the point that although with all your atrocities and rapes and murders and pillage that you did all around the world, until you force-fed that to your people as a good thing, you know, distributing civilization, distributing English as a language, this, you know, spreading democracy and freedom and capitalism, you keep spreading, you come up with things to spread around the world, and the only thing you actually do get to spread is your seed. The rest of it is apparently, you know, is a facade. Capitalism and democracy and freedom and all facades. The whole, all of it has been for, you know, colonialism. You know, the new facade is, you know, the Ashkenazi tribe from Europe needs to be resettled in Asia. Sort of like, you know, the British poor should be resettled in North America, and the French poor should be resettled in North America, and any, you know, European poor should go and resettle North America. Now the bad tribe, supposed bad tribe of Europe, has to be exiled into Asia. Are you kidding me? You keep exporting your problems, and, you know, whether they're these are problems that you have to solve within yourself. You had to solve somehow. Your brainiacs should have got together in Europe and thought, you know, how best to integrate the Ashkenazi in between you in your tribe, but you didn't. Just like you don't want to integrate anybody else in your tribe, and, you know, you go to Africa and you go to Asia and you disturb the native population, and once the native population rushes to Europe as a safe haven, or North America, suddenly the rest of white people are the same white people who are for invading Iraq are against Iraqis coming to your land. It's like, eh? You didn't expect, you squeeze the, you know, toothpaste over there, you didn't expect the toothpaste to move over here? You expected all of them to drown in the ocean. Yeah, we invade Iraq and expect all the Iraqis to either die or go drown themselves in the ocean. We don't want, however, we don't want any Iraqis to come to our land. We just have the right to go to their land by force. They can't even come to our land by permission. This is your sick culture that has created this sick system, and you're telling us that our educational system is telling our children to hate us. No, in fact, your educational system didn't. And until that point, you had in control over it, that is no internet, until the point that there was no internet and you had full control over educational system, you lied to your people and you kept them in the dark. You did all the bloodshedding around the world, but you kept them in the dark, telling your people that these are all for good reason. NPR is still doing it. NPR is still, you know, saying that, yeah, Afghanistan, Iraq, we have to go save them. We have to go save them. All of them are saying, both left and right, Mr. Glenn Beck and Mr. Bill Maher, they're both white colonialists. They're Zionists. Zionist and colonialist is the same thing, and both are under category of racism. When you're racist, you have colonialist ideas. One of those colonialist ideas becomes Zionism. Somehow you have to go find your Zion in somebody else's land. Find your Zion in your own fucking land. Don't look for your Zion in somebody else's land. Are you fucking kidding me? And if anybody prevents you from looking for your Zion in my land, somehow that is the bad guy, because the purpose of life is finding the Zion. Go find your Zion in Texas. Point. But that is not the point. You don't want to find your Zion in Texas because there are other white people in Texas who don't want your Zion in Texas. So what to do? As white race, we decide that we can send our white people to other people's land to find their Zions. We send some into North America, we send some to South America, Australia, Africa. Let's spread our seed, see which one we can grow a tree in and become a colony. And you use your, peasants as cannon fodder to spread the empire. Am I getting this wrong? To spread the empire, not based on anything good you were offering, just based on economic realities that we are an island of smart people, not you of course, but we are an island of smart people. We need resources to improve, to manufactures, to add productivity to add value to. We need resources to add value to so we can sell and make ourselves wealthier. Okay, good for you. What the fuck those people have done the other side of the planet that they can't trade with you their valuables. You want to own their valuables. So you go shed a bunch of blood to see if you can get to own their resources. Just like what is happening in Ukraine. This is you people. This is white Anglo-Saxons, specifically the British, who are dying to get some resources from Ukraine for free. And you're willing to finance a war for it if it means you can get those resources, and hopefully all the Russian resources. Why not? Let's break up Russia so British Petroleum can own, at least a part of, Rosneft, whatever the fuck the Russians call their oil company. Why not British Petroleum own portions? After we break up Russia, this is the whole idea. And now the peasants have to go die because British Petroleum and its board of directors and its trustees and its big shareholders, they don't want to pay so much for oil. They rather own it. Are you fucking kidding me? You're telling me that the problem is not your educational system, although that has a problem. As I said, you're not teaching any much useful skills.
If you are a regular listener to
But
this broadcast,
also the main problem is, that is not the case with regards to history. In fact, white children are learning a lot of history that you rather them not learn. The kind of history that you didn't used to teach in schools when colonialism was popular in your country. You didn't teach the uncomfortable truths of colonialism. Therefore, you convince your population there is everywhere you have a holy war with Indians and with Fijians, with Nicaraguans, with Hondurans, with the Redskins in the north, and you have a holy war going on all the time. God, king, and country. You constantly go and kill people, and you classify it. Your every war is classified in North America and the British. Classify every war as almost a holy war. We have to go put them down. It's a godly task. Salute. While we all know all these wars are because, these big cats at the top are getting too big for their boxes, they need a bigger box to shed in. Merrill Lynch and Bank of America and Goldman Sachs and Lehman Brothers, and they need a bigger box to shed in. So we need Ukraine to shed in. Are you fucking kidding me? No, this is the reality, and you should get really used to this, because you can no longer hide information. Your children from early age go on the internet and read, and you can't block it. You block 1 TikTok, 2 TikTok, 3 TikTok, 4 TikTok. The guy just goes and starts another one and it becomes popular, whether through advertising or word of mouth becomes popular. The truth is usually very popular. So you can't hide the truth. That's the thing with the truth. Truth is very, very, very popular. Once people hear it, rings a bell. And the truth is, your situation is even only going to get worse. Your children are going to dislike you even more. And as we speak, currently, you're not doing anything to help your likability rating, even amongst your own children. I can assure you, in 5 to 10 years, when the real numbers behind Gaza war, an attack of the Polish and the Hungarian on the Arabs, when the true figures and numbers and realities of attack of the Polish Hungarians on the Arabs in West Asia comes out in 5 to 10 years time, your children are going to feel even worse about themselves, even worse. And no, you cannot pass any law or teach any kind of history to prevent that, because history travels through the neural network on your planet called the internet at 5G speed. So you can't really fix it unless you blow up the whole planet to keep the British name popular. Let's blow up the planet and end history on a great note of British good name, on a lie of the British good name. Let's end the planet, because we want to, prove that we have a good name by blowing up the planet. You're a special kind of stupid, you British in general, and you specific. You're just a tool that these rich people who want to benefit from your mouth have given you, have risen you to a position of prominence in journalism, I guess, in opinionism. Why? Because your opinion matches their wants and needs, and that is a bigger empire, and no matter the cost. And then you come and say, yeah, we are teaching the wrong things to our kids, that's why they hate us, they hate ourselves, they hate their ancestors. No, they're actually reading about the true facts, and because of that they're starting to hate their ancestors for being such assholes. Where in just like 20 years later, everybody is thinking George W. Bush was an asshole, so was Dick Cheney, and even his daughter, and all of the whole idea of John Bolton and Rumsfeld, the whole group is shunned because truth came out. 10, 15, 20 years later, eventually slowly it comes out, trickle, and suddenly 9/11 becomes a Mossad job. Probably, maybe, so they say. I don't know, I might be wrong. My point is this, that the lies eventually come out because of the neural network on your planet called the internet. And you can't really cut yourself off from the internet, because then then your people will be really pissed off. You can't cut the rest of the world off. It's like cutting your own leg. Imagine United Kingdom being the little finger on the foot, and you think we cut United Kingdom away from the internet of the world, so in order for our children to stop hating themselves. So in other words, we're going to block the facts of history, current and past history, near and past history. We're going to block that. We're going to have our own British internet with regards to historical facts. It's like cutting your little pinky on your foot and putting it on the kitchen table and thinking, yeah, that's the best way to go. the little pinky is gonna die. The rest of humanity will have one less toe or one less fingernail. In the body of humanity, the British island is a fingernail. That's it. You're one of the fingernails of humanity. End of story. Yeah, you have nuclear weapons, but you're still a fingernail. Your shitty history and shitty people, the mental concept of racism. You're still racist. Because you support Zionism. Zionism is a manifestation of racism. We are the chosen people. Isn't that racism? I'm chosen? That means at the beginning of the sentence, I'm saying I'm above you. Are you serious? And we are all okay with you British. And Uncle Sam's managers apparently have to follow the British everywhere, even in the fucking toilet. You British go along with this because it's expansion of white settlements in brown Asia. What could be better than that? We have our own little colony in West Asia, just like we had our own little colony we called Hong Kong. And they had their own little colony called Macau. And South Korea is Uncle Sam's colony in East Asia. Every pink skin around the planet wants the colony somewhere. Even if they have to expand a lot of money to protect that colony from the natives. As is the case still in Filipino, Taiwan, South Korea, Japan. These are all colonies, not called colonies. But ask any Japanese finance minister whether Japan is a colony, and he would smile at you because he doesn't want to get in trouble. This is you have put as the British system, fucking British system. You have put the whole support of your whole system behind the most racist system you could find on the planet, and that is, Zionism. The system says that, these white people from Europe are chosen over you fucking brown people from Arabian Peninsula. So move over or perish. Your choice. Your full support, yours and all these British journalists / intelligence officers and influencers / intelligence officers and all these motherfuckers who are part of your system, the British system, they're all for colonialism. They're all for Israel, for colonialism. The more the better, because it's our seed. At least these people are white, you fucking people are brown. We don't like you, we don't trust you. We need to have some white people keeping order on brown Arabian Peninsula. And you think this is a good idea? This is a good system. We need some white people over there to keep an eye on the fucking brown natives. That's your system. And you think your people, those brown people have to get used to it, other people around the planet have to get used to it, because you have nuclear weapons. And you don't mind using them. You're okay with bloodshed. Very okay. The British have been always very okay with bloodshed. And you think if your children read this in history books, online, in this neural net on your planet, they read the true facts, numbers, how many Indians did you kill? You killed like 200 million Indians in 200 years that you ruled India. A million a year. We squashed them like insects. You want your children to read this shit online and be proud? Fuck you. Salute. After the fucking No, your problem is not your educational system. Your problem is your behavior. Fix that. You don't have to lie. If you fix your behavior, you stop doing colonial shit. You stop supporting Zionism or colonialism or white supremacy, as you eventually were forced to in South Africa. You think your influence in South Africa was more important than the welfare of the native black people, because you believe that you have influence in a white government of South Africa because they're white just like you. So therefore, it's more important for us to have an influence, an influence there, a bishop there, a rook there, or a horse there, than to have no influence because they are all motherfucking black, so we have no special influence. Just like Israel, you have a special influence in Israel. You tell the Israelis where to hit and they hit. Uncle Sam's managers tell Israel where to hit and when to hit and they hit. Are you serious? Where to hit, when to hit, and they hit. And you're telling, so that's basically called full influence. But Israelis sometimes they hit, you didn't want them to hit, but you know, it's a parasitic relationship. Sometimes you benefit from a parasite and sometimes you don't. Symbiotic relationship, sorry. But not even a symbiotic, because they're literally pushing all the Arabs into Europe. The same people that you detest being neighbors with on your fucking island is the same people Israelis are kicking out. Do you think a Palestinian being kicked out to Jordan, do you think he wants to stay in Jordan? No, he wants to go to London. Your brain doesn't work that far? I'm sorry, how intelligent are you that you can't, your brain supposedly doesn't reach that far to think that if you displace 2 million Palestinians, you're going to find at least 1 million more Palestinians in Europe. Because once you're unsettled, you will not stay in a shitty place. You want to go find the best place you can. Your brain doesn't work that much. You don't like Arabs in the British Island, but you're supporting a policy that is going to send more Arabs to you. Israelis expel 2 million Palestinians into these Arab countries that will take them. They're going to have a shitty life there as well. So they're going to end up in Paris, London, and Frankfurt, and some in Houston. And they're pissed off of white people who unsettled them, or they're pissed off of white people who supported other white people who unsettled them. And you're thinking to yourself that, no, that's not going to cause a problem. You unsettle people and you prefer them to be thrown in the ocean. They're not thrown in the ocean. You prefer them to stay in other Arab countries that you expel them, but you can't control them and they don't want to stay in a shitty place. Now that they are unsettled, now that they're stateless, they want to settle in a nice place, so they go to Norway. And then the Norwegians are screaming that we don't want any more Arabs. But at the same time, the Norwegians continue supporting the idea of some Europeans should go to Arab land. You're on the receiving end of a lot of Arab folks. You don't like it, but you're supporting a bunch of Europeans in Arabian Peninsula. Make up your mind. No, the Arabs are not going to disappear. Then the more you fuck them, the more they're going to be pissed at you. The Arabian Peninsula. Don't, United Arab Emirates. It's was a subsidiary of East India Company. And it still is a subsidiary of Her Majesty. It's not a fucking nation. It's a bunch of hotels. It's like saying Las Vegas is a nation. No, United Arab Emirates is a Las Vegas on wheels. On 20-inch heel. Las Vegas on 20-inch heel. Wheels. My point is this, 22-inch wheels. My point is this, that they're not a country. I mean, if the Emiratis want to give citizenship to the Palestinian in Emirat, I have a feeling the Palestinians would be okay with that, and so will everybody else. But that's not the case, is it? United Arab Emirates gets their marching order from City of London, and they say, yes, we should consider resettling the Palestinians. If they say, yeah, I think we should settle them in United Arab Emirates and give them full citizenship with full rights of every cocksucking sheik over there, then the page turns and the UAE is going to say, no, not here. We support their expulsion from that land because City of London is telling us to do so. But we don't want them in UAE. If we want peasants, we import them from Bangladesh. Not even peasant. If we want slaves, we import them from Bangladesh. We don't want Arab slaves because they're not going to make good slaves. And besides, we have to give citizenship to them. Fuck that. So the point is, Mr. Douglas Murray, prepare yourself for a lot more humiliation from your own children, and a lot more of your children are going to be pissed off of you and your generation, and pissed off of their ancestors because of things you're doing actually today. Supporting a racist colony of white people in brown West Asia. Are you kidding me? Seriously? And then you're wondering why your children don't like you? Maybe wonder, why don't we change our policies to be more human-like? At least pretend to be human. I know it's difficult. Salute. At least pretend to be human and follow at least pretend human policies, which is basically says, no, it's a bad idea. Yeah, your influence in Arabian Peninsula is not worth killing and disturbing a couple of millions and millions of people, while considering that large numbers of them are going to end up on your doorstep as stateless people. What, you're going to increase policing? You're making your own countries more police-like states because of so many unknown individuals that are coming in, and many of them are pissed at you because you supported their uprooting. You're shooting yourself in the foot on the behest of British Petroleum and Goldman Sachs and City of London. You're shooting yourself in the foot, creating a lot of enemies, and some of these enemies probably are going to, not enemies, just people who are pissed off at you. You uprooted them. And most of them, they want to find a better life. They're not going to be satisfied living in a refugee camp in Syria, which eventually probably where you're going to send these poor bastards. Syria is basically stateless, and your guy is in charge over there, so he will rubber stamp and tell you to bring him in. We had 20 million people to 20 million Palestinians to eastern Syria, right in the middle of desert. We're going to put some shacks together, some tents, and we're going to put them from beachfront properties to middle of desert in eastern Syria, because we need the seaside properties. They're more valuable. Salute. More valuable for whom? For Joe Sixpack in Birmingham, who's driving a taxi for a living. No, his life is not going to change whether City of London owns parts of Gaza, or New York owns part of Gaza. Joe Sixpack is not going to. Joe Sixpack is just used as a fodder to go and take the land. After his job is done, they put some money in his pocket and they send him home. Now it's time for City of London to reap the benefits of their investment in a war, whether be it in West Asia or Eastern Europe. And you're telling me that our children know these things, these facts, eventually we'll hear of them, but our children should still also like our system, and like what we did, like our ancestors and what they did, and like our history, and our children should love themselves. Here's the thing, sir. There is an old saying, Mr. Douglas Murray and Mr. Elon Musk, who reposted your bullshit. There is a saying. In the shithole I come from, there is an old saying that says, Musk, Musk as Mr. Elon Musk, or Musk as the gland, the thing that comes out of the gland in a deer's belly or whatever. They're supposed to be having a perfume-like smell. They say, we have a saying, we say Musk has to smell good on its own, regardless of how badly the shopkeeper wants to sell it. Musk we call it moshk, which I'm assuming Musk is a Latinization of the word moshk, which is that perfume that comes from the deer. But the point is this: the idea is that Musk has to smell good on its own, regardless of how good of a salesman the pharmacist is, or the seller is. Your history has to be good on its own without you trying to make it good or make your children be proud of it. If your history is good, if your actions are good, supporting a colonialist white state on Arabian Peninsula is not one of those good things. If your decision, your actions are good, your children are going to remember you as good, are going to be proud of their people, even if they're a little poorer, but at least they're going to live poor and proud. The problem is the British have always chosen to live as ignorant and proud. The neural net has come in. They can't stay ignorant. Your children cannot, literally cannot, because information is always in front of them. They literally cannot stay ignorant. And that is your problem. And the only solution, when you find out that they will eventually learn the truth through the neural net, the only solution is not to do the bad thing, not to do the illogical thing, not to do the racist thing. In a racist state, in a South Africa kind of a state, Kramer from Seinfeld could have made that racist rant and then silenced everybody through this, a police state, and Kramer still have a good name as not a racist guy. But the neural net spreads the message, and the truth comes out, and the gentleman has some egg on his face. That's the point. You cannot hide the truth anymore. So better do good. Now that you're sure you're going to be remembered, might as well do some good. Stop killing people. Stop supporting the killing people. Stop being racist. Stop supporting racist colonies. And in my view, yes, the board should take advantage of Donald Trump's offer and move at least to North America or Europe, back to Europe. If they don't want back to Europe, back to at least to North America, because Redskins are already all dead. So are the Israelis. Should be given Trump should invite the Israelis to the United States. Somewhere, give them, if they want to live separately, live somewhere else, somewhere in Texas separately, in a Jewish town. But that is up to Uncle Sam's managers, whether they want to stop that racist colonialist venture into Asia. But time and time again, the white people have to be forced to do the right thing, forced by not by nature. I mean, eventually the British had to be forced to give up Hong Kong, because they couldn't afford it, and then the Chinese by that time were strong enough that they could unlike Argentina, the Chinese were strong enough that they could stand up to the fucking British. And the British put their tail between their legs and moved home. That was a racist idea. Hey, you Chinese, this island off your coast, from now on is ours. Because we got bigger cannons. And then you wonder why your people are sad about their heritage. You always went in with your dick out. Sort of, look at the size of my dick. This is the British way. You go in with your dick out. With your gunboats. Not with regard, nothing about coexistence, nothing about let me learn from you, let you learn from me, nothing of that sort. No. Look at the size of our dick. We want to own your island. Salute. And you're telling me that, this is a bad educational system, is telling our children the wrong things, so they're sad about their heritage. No, they're given the facts, and the facts makes them sad. You want to fix that? From today, stop supporting crazy shit. Things that you feel once your children learn, they will be very sad. If you're doing, Mr. Douglas Murray, anything, if your system, the people you're associated with, if they're doing anything wrong that you think, and you know how it's wrong, is when you think if my child hears of this, will my child be sad or not? And if you feel, if my child ever hears of what I'm doing, what I'm saying, what I'm doing, whose orders I'm carrying out, if my child ever hears of this, he or she is going to be sad, that's a warning sign for you to pull out and say, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to sell my soul to the devil. As simple as that. That's when you don't have to worry about your reputation, your historical legacy, historical reputation. You don't have to worry about your children committing suicide or being depressed or sad about your history if you do the right thing. And the right thing, you always know what the right thing is, Mr. Douglas Murray. The right thing is a thing that you don't mind your children knowing. If you don't mind your children ever hearing what you did, everything you did, then do it. But now you have done a lot of bad shit, and now you're complaining why your children are getting to hear of it. As is Mr. Ron DeSantis passing a law saying, you know, our children should not learn a lot of the history that makes them sad. It's sort of saying, I'm an asshole, but you know, my children should not know that I'm an asshole. I'm sorry to break this to you white people. If you're an asshole, your children are eventually going to find out you're an asshole. Not individually. I know a lot of white people, nice people. We're talking about the 10% who are ruling at any time white countries. You know, England and France and Germany and United States and, you know, Canada. The NATO, the white rules-based order. White rules. The 10% who are in charge are making some questionable decisions, and now, you know, the media folks like you come out and say, yes, the questionable decisions that our leaders have made in the past are making our children sad. What should we do to prevent our children from becoming sad? Well, we should prevent them from learning facts. Salute. Salute to facts. No, sir, facts eventually come out. Facts eventually come out. You know, the whole, you know, that thing about, but it bends towards justice. Truth is justice. Justice is truth. Just like the arc of the moral universe, the whole thing, you know, bends towards justice. But the arc is too long, too fucking long. That is, the truth will come out. But, you know, depends on how long CIA wants to lock it up. Or Mossad or MI5 and MI6. It depends on how long they want to lock people on in Guantanamo Bay. But eventually, either the people or their news comes out. Then what? Magna Carta? Fuck you with Magna Carta. Whenever you wanted to break Magna Carta, you did it off your shitty little island, and just like Uncle Sam's managers do it in all over black side off their island, in black sites in Europe and Africa, wherever it's lawless. They have black sites, and then they all have their own black site in Guantanamo Bay, and somehow they pretend that, you know, it's a territory, but it's, you know, it's not a state, so we don't have to do Magna Carta. So your Magna Carta is only with regards to white people. Still. Magna Carta. Yeah, I was in an immigration prison camp for a year, and during my whole year, I saw two white people. One Swedish, he was of old age, and he wanted to go back to Sweden. So he did a couple of stupid things until they caught him, because Swedish welfare for old people is much better than Uncle Sam's welfare. So he wanted to go back to Sweden after living in the United States for, you know, with a made-up social security number for 20, 30 years, 40 years. And there was one more guy, Australian white guy, who, you know, who got caught like 5-6 times growing weed in the houses that he rented around the city. He was a, you know, medium-sized, small-sized weed grower with a couple of properties at any given time growing weed. A businessman. So we got a Swedish who wants to go home, and an Australian who who was, dumb enough not to try it. And these are the only two white guys I saw in an immigration prison camp. For over a year I was there. So my point is this, that illegal immigration, if you're white, you somehow qualify for some kind of process of immigrating to North America. And if you're not, you're off-white, then you have to qualify to immigrate. If you're white, you don't have to qualify, and if you are off-white, you have to. We have to need your skills in order for you to immigrate to white land. And why? Because we want to keep the brown and the black numbers as a minority within limits. We don't want to make Puerto Rico. That's why Puerto Rico never became a state, because it's majority black people, majority brown and black people. Therefore, it can never become a state unless the majority becomes white. You are racist. Your whole system in UAS and UK, in Uncle Sam's land, and in UK, your whole upper management, your whole bureaucracy, your whole philosophy, political philosophies, is all still based on racism. Our white soldiers have the right to go to Iraq, but Iraqis don't have the right to seek safety in London. Our soldiers can go to Baghdad, but Baghdadis cannot seek safety in London. Our soldiers can go in with guns blazing in Baghdad, but Baghdadi people cannot come in begging for peace, living in peace in London. That's racist. The whole system is racist. Your bureaucracy, your NPR, which keeps nagging that they're not racist and they're so kind and they think of everybody, and it's a racist business. They bring an Arab girl to read the talking points of white people, present the opinions of white. They bring an Arab girl, a Chinese girl, somebody, ethnicity, they bring them in to read from the teleprompter the opinions of white owners, white overlords, or, white messengers. You are a messenger from City of London, Mr. Douglas Murray. You're a messenger. Probably you work for intelligence services, and intelligence services usually serve the interests of the wealthy and powerful. In your case would be City of London, people who reside there, do business there, own property there, run things there. You talk on their behalf. And what you're saying is that, yes, the decisions that we made based on greed are affecting our young people for the worse. So we have to do something about our educational system because we don't want to change our policies based on greed. To the Sane Society.